15 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour on Wncr-Tv Now as we talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation. I want to say a happy Tuesday to you. Do hope everything is well with you this Tuesday morning, April 22nd. Can I tell you, time waits for no one indeed. So don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today. That is certainly true indeed. Those who listen to via the radio, I guess television too, you got to hear that Deborah Barnes and what will you be doing this morning? WAGA 102.5. Again, as we talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation, lots of talk national, lots of talk statewide, and let's see what is on the North Carolina legislators' agenda for today, if anything at all, at least public anyway. Something's always probably on their agenda. The question is, what's public on their agenda? House calendar is not. So maybe they're in recess this week for the holiday, and that may be very well what it is. Yeah, because the next legislative calendar will convene on Monday, April the 28th, for the House, and the Senate convenes on the same time at noon, and probably nothing on the calendar that day. Now, Tuesday, of course, a couple of the committees will be meeting. That's Homeland Security and Military and Veteran Affairs, Agriculture, Energy and Environment, the Commerce and Energy Development Organization or Committee, Regulatory Reform, Health Update. There's going to be a press conference by Sydney Batch, Wildlife Resources. This is all on the 29th of Tuesday. State and Local Government Committee is meeting. Judiciary 3, Judiciary 2, and Judiciary 1. They all are meeting on Tuesday. And the Commerce and Insurance on the Senate side. And then the State and Local Government and Education K-12 and Education K-12. They got a meeting at 2. Then they got a 15-minute meeting after the recess, after the meeting, which is okay. So there you are. I don't think the House has yet released a budget. The Senate has, and we will see what ultimately will go on with the budgets being produced. What will ultimately be the state-approved budget signed by the governor of North Carolina, Josh Stein. In fact, did we look at what Josh Stein's, I think we talked about what Josh Stein's proposed budget is. That is his responsibility as the governor to make a budget proposal by some said time. And then the House and Senate will take up those measures, or at least acknowledge the proposal, and then move in whatever direction they are moving into. As international news, Pope Francis' funeral will be held on Saturday with public viewing starting on Wednesday. Pope Francis will be laid to rest on Saturday after lying in state for 3 days in St. Peter's, where the faithful are expected to flock to pay their respects to history's first Latin American pontiff. The Cardinals met Tuesday in the Vatican Hall to chart the next steps before the conclave began to choose Francis' successor, as condolences pour in from around the world. According to the current norms, and conclave must begin between May the 5th and May the 10th. The Cardinals are set for a funeral on Saturday at 10 a.m. in St. Peter's to celebrated by the Dean of the College of Cardinals, the Cardinal Giovanni Battista, I guess. Also, President Donald Trump said he and First Lady Melinda Trump plan to attend. Argentina President Xavier Milei, I guess, is also expected to attend as well. So that is what you're going to see on television across the country. The days that dignitaries and others from all across the world will go to pay their respects to the elected Pope, or the formerly elected Pope, there for the church. Of course, yesterday we had a conversation about the budget retreat that was held in Nash County as it relates to will they do or will they not do. So we'll see at their upcoming meeting how people vote for their prospective positions on outside funding. Now, I don't know. Generally, I think it just depends on the way the budget's packaged. The budget could be packaged in a way that it is all one flexed item, or they could approve a a couple of the budget, a couple of different motions. One is approving the outside funding agency to be included in the adopted budget, and make it a separate motion if they so choose to. So I don't know how the compactness or the formulation of the budget process will work when they get ready to do it. Of course, they'll approve a capital expenditure plan. Again, it could do all in the same motion. So they could approve a budget and a CIP plan and the outside funding agencies all in the same motion and everything goes. Or they could do it as individual items. So we'll see how that works. And maybe we can figure that out. We can go to Nash County Commissioner's website and we can look somewhere there about in June, probably June of last year, and look at what their agenda reflects as a possible. Let's see if we go back that far. First of all, as I say, we can do that. And we may not be able to do that time period. Last year. Oh, yeah. Not last 6 months, last year. Perfect. And then I want to go to, I want to look at other stuff. So let me go to, I'm going to say 6:30. Well, not 6:40. There's no 40th day of the month that I'm aware of. There we go. So I would think they approved it at their June the 3rd, maybe June 17th meeting. Budget amendments, budget ordinance. Yep. Okay. So they did the budget ordinance. So they did it as one item. It says, on May the 20th, 2024, the original budget message was presented to the board. On June the 3rd, 2024, the board regular monthly meeting, I provide a summary of the original budget, and the board had a public hearing on the budget. The final budget for consideration today has all the items presented to you on the June the 3rd, 2024 public hearing. The total general fund balance for fiscal year 2025 is $125 million. The overall budget, which includes general fund, enterprise fund, and special revenue funds and internal service funds, is $142 million. It is recommended that the board adopts its fiscal year 2025 budget ordinance. So if they do it the same way they did last year, there would be just a vote that would be encompassing of everything. And so, again, we did see the engagement on the outside agencies funding from the budget retreat that happened the other day, Wednesday, I think it was. And let me see here. So this would be the June the 3rd meeting of last year. I'm trying to say a public hearing on budget. Let me see. Commission information only. Commissioners actually will provide a brief summary on the proposed budget before the public hearing is conducted. The board will welcome to offer any additional comments related to the summary of the proposal. Then hold public comment. Yeah, so I would have to go back and find last year's budget, the $142 million, and of course they made budget amendments all over. So it's probably a little bit more than $142 million for the Nash County annual operating funds there. But nevertheless, we will see. Again, I think just for the ideal of consistency, I did actually go and look at the organization that was in question yesterday. That's in Wilson. Looks like they're at 219B Barn Street in Wilson. And so what that organization appears to do, at least on the education side of it, is help with application forms. And when I mean application forms, I mean applications as far as applying for colleges and universities, helping complete the FAFSA and things. In fact, I'm trying to go from memory, but let me just pull it up versus trying to go from memory there. That's essentially what I saw that organization do on yesterday evening. And it's castleazulwilson.org is what it is. Castleazulwilson.org. And it says our mission, Castle Azul rather, D. Wilson provides a home base for Eastern North Carolina Latinx families to feel valued so they may own their power and ascend in their educational, leadership, civic pursuits. We build communities through cultural affirming events, programs, and campaigns that allow us to celebrate our complex and diverse identities. Our vision, we envision an Eastern North Carolina where Latinx communities can feel seen and safe to nurture their authentic selves by recognizing the cultural wealth they bring to their communities. Our Gentech will be taken out without the judgment of their own language. So it says our history. Castle Azul of Wilson hosted the first event on March 2021, bringing the community together during the pandemic for an outdoor gathering. We invited 10 young local leaders to share their professional journeys after high school with their current seniors, inspiring them to dream big and aim high. We firmly believe that we cannot be what we cannot see. The lack of representation in leadership, underrepresentation, making it harder for others to envision themselves in those spaces. This event marks the beginning of our mission to empower young Latinx leaders to showcase their potential and build a future where everyone has an opportunity to thrive. Now, Castle Azul of Wilson serves 17 counties with bilingual college advising. The generational impact of supporting youth in their educational pursuits will have unquantifiable ripple effects for their families and communities. We are extremely a precious resource for the Latinx students in our state. And so they, I guess because of the impact of where people may be at, they say they represent Hyde County, Pender, Sampson, Cumberland, Lenoir, Wayne, Greene, Pitt, Edgecombe, Wilson, Nash, Wake, Chatham, Durham, Orange, and Guilford counties is where they mark their counties of influence. And one over here is Rutherford County. Didn't see that one way over there on the other side of the state. Now, I don't know if that impact is because that is where some students may be going off to school. And so they can say, hey, while they may be from our local area, when they go off to school or do whatever they're doing, creates their impact there, because again, there are physical places in Wilson, and so that, and again, I'm not saying you can't do things electronically, because in this world certainly you can. It would just be interesting to see their frame of work. But I will say, in listening to, or reading rather, what their mission is, what their vision is, and their story, it is a story of a marginalized community in our country. That oftentimes is undervalued and not appreciated. And so it does, it actually will do what some of the DEI type goals and dreams and aspirations is to, see that folks, no matter if they look different from you, speak different from you, that they have something to offer. They have different lived experiences and things of that nature. So that is something to think about, especially in a time where you have a federal government and now a state government that is putting together anti-DEI pieces of legislation. And the crazy thing is, let's say the state government adopts that bill, right? They adopt a bill. And they adopt that bill that that they're trying to, it unpassed the Senate, and it passes before the budget session is done. Nash County will not be able to give that money to this organization. It will actually be against the law for Nash County to actually participate in funding that organization. Now, you heard what the organization was about. You heard what they were doing. If the House at some point ever passed 171 and it is signed by the governor, it becomes the law. If the House passes, it's vetoed by the governor, they're able to muster enough votes to somehow or another override the governor's veto. it becomes law. And so what that would mean is organizations like this that help Latinx communities across 17 counties to apply for college, to apply for FAFSA, and etc. They would not be able to do that. And I talked about the Rocky Mount Women and Minority Business Organization's efforts that City Rocky Mount is doing. I don't think that even that situation will be able to be granted dollars to as well. And so then you're going to have a state auditor whose powers is continuing to grow just about every time they take a vote once a week or once a month, I'll say, which is emboldened that office to do a whole bunch of whatever. So we'll see what ultimately folds or comes out of many of this. But again, I will say, just thinking out loud here, you're just a holding a vote on the floor test to see whether or not House Bill or Bill 171 will ever make its way to the House chambers to be voted upon. It's been pulled. I think the last time it was pulled was on the 10th of April. And they said it was pulled to make some tweaks to it, some adjustments to it. And so if those adjustments are made and they're satisfactory to the elected body, the North Carolina General Assembly, in conjunction with the methods that the federal government is doing, you could see that the conversation that was held at the retreat, as far as the budget conversation with the county commissioners, will be null and void. And the other piece would be, if it becomes law retroactive, let's say it becomes law on July the 1st, and they don't pass it to July the 30th. You know, they have situations like that where they do retroactive stuff. And so Nash County or any other county, any other city, if the bill stays the way that I read it, would not be able to give taxpayers' monies to organizations that are race specific or some type of thing they deem to be discriminatory. So that's that. I want to say good morning to Betty Archambault, Irma Maxwell, Melinda Ingram, Candy Staten, William Manley, Gloria Brake, Gwendolyn Swain, Lucy Boyer, Lorraine Pitts, and Reginald Manning. Thank you all for tuning in to WNCR-TV Now. Thank you, William Manley, for sharing the Facebook Live video, and I actually forgot to share it, so you just helped remind me to share the Facebook Live video as well. You too can do that by going to WNCRTV.com and making a quick post and click and share. Good morning. So that's what you can do this morning. Again, thank all of you for tuning in today to WNCR TV Now, as we talk about things, again, impacting our state, our city, and our nation this morning. So another piece of news that's going out is that Pete has been, or had at some point, sent another piece of classified information, perhaps to his wife and others. And so now that is a talking point. Firing Pete Chadshire 3 months into his tenure would force an embarrassed Trump to admit he made a mistake. Well, we shall see what ultimately happens with that. And again, as one commentator on the television said today, you don't know the timing as to which it happened. Did it happen around the same time he did the other thing with the media guy on the post, or was it later on? And so that we'll figure that one out there as well. And of course, later today, it is a possibility of rain. I thought it was just for tomorrow, but it is a possibility of rain this afternoon, rain showers, as well as for tomorrow as well. So be mindful of those things. City Council will meet this. No, they count. No. That's for May. Yeah. So the City Council meeting will be this upcoming Monday, right? Yeah, at 4 p.m. until sometime I just. Yeah, because they canceled the one for May, if I'm not mistaken, or because I don't see why they would cancel the April 28th date. Now I'm tripping. So let me just go back and reconfirm what I thought happened. I believe that is happened because Memorial Day, they want to move to Tuesday, and then they elected to or voted to just combine it with the next meeting in June, I believe it would be. Let me look at their agenda items. And it's just from April the 14th. And we go down to the last item. Consideration of rescheduling council meeting. Yeah, for May. It was for May. Yeah, so there should be a meeting this upcoming Monday. Hey, caller, good morning. Caller, good morning. All right. So be sure when you do call that you are that one, whatever listening device you have is muted. And two, you're just communicating through your listening device only. And hopefully it's not me having issues here. Hey, caller, good morning.
Hey, Art.
Hey, sir, how's it going?
Good morning.
Good Tuesday morning to you, sir.
Hey, got a question about the hotel from you were speaking on yesterday. It was on the Edgecombe side. My question is, if they was to build the hotels, would it be closer to 95 on the Edgecombe side, or would it be somewhere in the city?
Well, I don't care where it is in the city in Edgecombe side for me personally, but I don't know how close you can get 95 there, but it can get to 64. It can be close to 64. But if you put it over there and work out a deal with George Dickens on the land she owns at crossing at 64, that would be a thoroughfare you could possibly do it on, or the conversation's been for you. Okay.
That's what I mean, 64. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Or conversation has been over the years to try to incent a hotel developer to build a hotel in downtown Rocky Mount.
Because it seems like all the other hotels are close by the hospital out there on 64 and stuff like that. So
they are. They are. So more of your branded hotels are on 64. Then, of course, you have a number of hotels, though, that are on 301 as well, right? So you got your Days Inn and your other hotels down that way, the American Executive, whatever it used to be. You got one in Battleboro and other areas. So Rocky Mount has a lot of hotels when you go back and kind of count them. But, yeah, the major hotel district by the hospital is one that has a flurry of hotels. But there is quite a number of them also down 301 as well.
Yeah, I was looking downtown. I said, wow, they have really made everything look like parking lots by the center, by the event center. So I'm thinking, where they're going to build hotels, are they going to build somewhere down Rocky Mount? But I see it looks like it's more for parking than anything else.
Yeah, and so, which is a plus positive because, if you went downtown years ago, you wouldn't see lots available for parking because there was little to no activity in downtown. And so now you see a number of either buildings being torn down to create temporary parking space for the patrons who come and patronize at the event center. So absolutely. And that's why I will say that I think it'll be a hard sell to justify the building of a parking deck in Rocky Mount when you have so much land or surface level parking. Once you run out of space and then land becomes high, then you start looking at how do we start building vertical parking space, right? But until then, I think you use all the surface level because it's just cheaper to use surface level parking versus a $18 million parking deck. And it's not why can't Rocky Mount have one? No one's saying that. We're saying what is the best use of money at this present time, right? To incent other development in downtown. And then when you got so much development that you got so much parking space, then you start looking at a 2 or 3 story or 4 story structure that will allow additional parking at whatever that price tag is.
Right. All right, cool, man. I ain't gonna hold you. I was just curious. I was like, well, where would they build a hotel at? I mean, if it's going to be close to the event center, but somewhat close,
Yeah. So a number of places, right? So there, like, to your point, there's a whole bunch of parking lots, right? And so that is the idea, right? If you take parking space and start using it to build i.e. a hotel, right? Now you're getting more into justification that you need a parking deck, because now you're using up areas because you see development happening that's causing you to eat up that space. And so that becomes a justification. But what happens is open space gives someone with a spatial or visionary mind to say, what could I build here in this open space, right? A lot of parking lots used to exist in a downtown Raleigh or downtown Wilmington or wherever it is. And then people start saying, nope, I want that space because now I can build a high rise and have, 200 apartment complex, some condos, retail on the bottom floor. And then before you know it, they have to build parking decks and things of that nature.
Correct.
So, we don't have to reinvent anything. It's already, the mode and pattern has already been established. All we got to do is work at it and follow through with it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right, my brother. I knew you was on it.
All right. Thank you, sir. And again, that's just my position. There are a number of residents in North Carolina who can feel any other kind of way that they want to feel about a parking deck and this, that, and third. Again, I don't live downtown Rocky Mount or in close proximity to, whereas the parking congestion may constitute or feel as though it is a problem. So, for me, what they're doing seems to work, at least as I'm riding through downtown. It's not a delay or type of situation. I get it. For residents that may be in close proximity downtown, they may have a different story. But I will say that those who choose to live in downtown communities across this country that are vibrant and upgrowing downtown communities, they should know and have an understanding that there is going to be some issues with parking. If you are a person who lives in D.C. or a person who live in downtown Raleigh or whatever, parking consistently is an issue for many of those cities and towns. And so you expect the same to be true in your downtown community. And that is why that as you are creating a downtown plan and realizing a downtown plan, that you're thinking about all those things in your long-term range future developmental plans. That you're thinking about what does an entertainment district look like in a downtown Rocky Mount? How are we spacing out bars and taverns and things of that nature so that there is not a heavy pocketed congestion even in one area, right? And could cause potential risk of unwanted or unfavorable activity. So these are things that you got to take in consideration. It is not always a time that, hey, because I got money, I should be allowed to put this here. No, the citizens got together and said that this is what they want their downtown to look like. They only want this limited supply of this type of business or that type of business or whatever it is, because those are the people who are going to patronize your business as well as people from out of town. And so that's, I think, again, this is only me thinking out loud, is what you got to do. But again, other folks going to have different persuasion. That's why y'all get together at the table, you have conversation, you hash it out. And then those shared ideas, light bulbs pop off and say, I never thought about it that way. I'm thinking about it needs to be this particular way. And it doesn't. Your way and my way collectively. Now we done ironed out the wrinkles. Now we got a nicely smoothed and layered out shirt or pants or whatever you want to call it for the analogy. That's, I would hope, what would happen. But oftentimes that don't happen. One, because either people are not given the opportunity to participate, or two, they're given the opportunity to participate and they choose not to participate in that process. And so you get what you get at the end of the day. I want to say also good morning to Frida, the chairwoman for Edgecombe County Democratic Party, as well as Elder Venice Harris. Venice Harris. I say Elder Venice Harris. Venice Harris. Good morning to you as well. Thank you for tuning in to Wncr-Tv Now as we continue to talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation. 44 minutes past 8 o'clock hour. But yes, I do stand by that idea that if there is a hotel developer that comes in the city and want to look at a hotel on Nash County side, that Rocky Mountain does all it can possibly do within reason to facilitate incentives to get that hoteler to open up a hotel in Edgecombe County. That is my thought. Again, I'm one of nearly 60,000 residents. Someone said, no, Brian, it's only 55,000 residents here. I still don't buy that either. I do believe there are more people living in Rocky Mount than what the census assumed or estimated to be. I just think that there are more people in our community than that. When you look at, again, I get it. There's a lot of people have moved out of town, but again, the Mill Village had no one staying in it. Those mill houses were empty, right? Apartment complex that didn't exist now exists, and they're 100% in occupancy. There are more storage units being built in our community like never before. So when I look at all of the indicators throughout our city as to what is a signal of growth, I do believe we have that. If you look at that's in the county area, but the number of building permits for new housing structures coming up to different areas and that type of thing. So another piece of legislation I think that is sitting in the General Assembly. Let me see if I can find that bill real quick. Hopefully I will be able to do. There's a bill. Nope. Not gonna be able to find it because it was not on. There's a bill that is dealing with automatic approvals of a couple of permits, that it creates a timeline almost immediately for cities, towns, and counties to approve. And it may be a rezoning application or something. They have to do it almost within like 90 days or 30 days or something, somewhere there about. I think this is another situation. Let me make sure what this bill number is. I think it's dealing with something else. 2025, 2026. Let me see. Anyway, there's that. I could probably find it if I Google it. That's just the resolution, yeah. Yeah. So we'll see about that bill when I get a moment to locate it. And it was, again, dealing with some zoning, I think, request is, if my mind is correct. Let me see here. Search bill text, permits. Firearms Appropriation Act. Gambling. Huh? Oh, gaming. I thought I said gambling. I must be okay. Well, wait. Let me look at this. What is this? This is an act to make various changes to alcohol laws of the state of North Carolina, revise the law, game nights, and remove limitation on raffles for 50/50 raffles conducted by nonprofit. Yes, North Carolina is becoming a gambling state. Freedom of carry. We talked about the carry conceal permit before. Land use and clarification. I think this might be it right here. No, that ain't it. That's just oh, no. Nope, that ain't it. What? This is interesting. This bill now for something else. And looking for something else, I find this bill that was filed on March 26th. And it says an act to allow the sitting of schools via a special use permit for areas zoned for commercial use, to clarify the use right of property that are not extinguished by the approval of additional use rights, and to eliminate municipal ETJs, which is extrajudicial jurisdictions, right? So right now, a municipality can go up to, I want to say it's 2 miles, 2 or 3 miles outside of its city limits. Maybe it's 2 miles. I got to look at what the ETJ boundary situation is. But anyway, they have the authority to also zone it while it's not directly in the city limits. So this bill would actually, I guess, get rid of that. Well, isn't that something? Let me see. It's now, is this for certain areas, or is this statewide? I think it might be statewide here. Let's look at the ETJ point though here. Part 3, remove extrajudicial jurisdiction authorities. It says cities, all the powers granted by this chapter may be exercised by a city within its corporate limits. Within its corporate limits. So yeah, it will strike out its corporate limits and within any extrajudicial area established pursuant to General Statute 160D 202, which then 160D 202 would actually give me what those boundary things are. I'll go look at it in a few minutes. It's going to change it. Section 3.1 General Statute 160D 202 will be rewritten. And it will say transfer or relinquish its jurisdiction. So right now, that is the municipality's extraterritorial jurisdiction. So it will basically take away the geographic scope. It says any city may exercise powers granted under cities under this chapter within defined area extended not more than 1 mile beyond its contiguous corporate. So there it is. So they get 1 mile beyond the city limits. See, didn't I tell you I would find it's like that if I looked at it, what chapter it was. In addition, a city of 10,000 or more population, but less than 25, may exercise these powers over an extended not more than 2 miles beyond its limits. And a city of 25,000 or population may exercise these powers of an extrajudicial not more than 3 miles beyond the limits. In determining the population for the purpose of the chapter, the city council and the board of county commissioners may use the most recent annual estimate pursuant to General Statute 160A 58.4. So it is striking out the entire ETJ. The entire ETJ. And what that is a lot of times a lot of these counties are concerned about a lot of the county getting ate up by municipalities, and so eventually there wouldn't be a function of county government, so to speak. I guess that's what they're thinking in their heads, because these municipalities begin to do this and do that. County function still has county functions. I mean, you can look at Wake County, as large as that is Mecklenburg County. Now, I will say that Mecklenburg County, I think their police department or sheriff's office or something like that is a combined situation, or they only have one agency. I can't quite remember. There's something unique about their policing authority. Let me see. Mecklenburg County police, I guess. And Mecklenburg County don't have police, right? So Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department. So yeah, so somehow or another they have a unique situation down there. So they got to have an elected sheriff, though. I'm going to have to do some more research now, because I was having a conversation with somebody about that whole situation. This is when we were talking about police pay, and it was talking about stuff down there. And Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department is the police department of Mecklenburg. Is the police department of Mecklenburg County, which includes the city of Charlotte, with 1,817 officers, 525 civilian staff as of 2020, covering an area of 438,000 miles with a population of 1 million. Is the largest police department between Washington, D.C. and Atlanta, Georgia. And so there it is. The CMP, by statute, is county police in that it has jurisdiction anywhere in Mecklenburg County. The unique status of the situation makes Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department Metro Police. Yeah. Police chief. So And maybe it's a countywide jurisdiction, but now I'm saying, okay, there has to be an Mecklenburg County sheriff, right? Let me see. See, I don't live down there. We just had a conversation about this. Yeah, they got, yeah, because I guess the sheriff's office would still maintain the jail, right? They gotta be sure with Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, too. Mecklenburg Sheriff NC. I ain't looking for no warrant information. Mech Sheriff. Let's see if this is what it is. This is probably somewhere else. But anyway, they definitely got because they got the courthouse, not a county. Yeah, Mecklenburg County Sheriff, North Carolina. Yeah, so they've got an interesting. Normally, police just have jurisdiction within their city limits, but Charlotte Police or the CMPD has jurisdiction over the entire Mecklenburg County, which is thus why they have one of the largest. So I wonder what then is the sheriff's personnel size when a lot of functions handled by the city. But again, it goes back to what I led to say, that this ETJ battle has been going on for quite some time, and some counties believe that they're shrinking their level of authority because these cities are growing and growing and growing. And again, while the ETJ may be gone, it does not take out the right that by voluntary annexation, you can still grow your cities and counties can still shrink up more and more. But as counties reduce their county size, they continue to increase their budget because you have that double taxation with your county taxing and city tax, which is because, again, counties are funding school systems and this, that, and third. And that was one of the arguments that municipalities should be funding schools. Then, of course, in that same year, 2016 or 2017, somewhere thereabout, the General Assembly enacted a policy that does, in fact, allow school municipalities to give direct dollars to school districts from whatever source they may be. I don't think it necessarily had to be enterprise funds. When Rocky Mount had the statutory obligation to do it, it must derive from whatever it is, enterprise funds. Now, the question here is this. Is there more development happening with enterprise funds now that they no longer have the responsibility of paying the gap there, right? That gap one year been as high as $1 million and got down as like $300,000. And so what is happening with that utility enterprise revenue that once covered gap that's now not going towards gap? That to me is extra money either to reinvest in capital improvement for your utility department or figure out a way to help subsidize some of these high bills that people are having with utilities and put more money in a warm program from the enterprise fund or whatever you can legally, I'll say, do with that money as well. Because I could talk out loud what they could do with it, and it may not be a legal way they could do it with it. So either do a little more research on how enterprise money can be expensed in that. It does supposed to go for the help of the utility itself or the enterprise itself, and so they try to make them self-sufficient. So we do know there's a greater level of sufficiency because of what they used to do with some of that money as required by general statute to fund the gap between National Edgecombe County Public Schools. Well, my time is come and gone this morning, but we certainly thank each and every one of you for tuning in to WNCR-TV Now as we talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation. Don't forget to check out Pop's Diner, located 132 South Church Street, downtown Rocky Mount. I worked there all day yesterday. In the Frank County, great experience there, great food for sure. Fast as well. Lady came in and said, "Wow, you got this out really quick. I like that." And so, working on those things as well. Again, Pop's Diner, 132 South Church Street, downtown Rocky Mount, and of course, hopefully, I'll be a guy to have at auto sales today at 1211 North Wesleyan Boulevard. We'll see you next time on WNCR TV Now.